What is going on, everybody? So today's review is going to be about a film that is a little bit older. But being a person who loves horror movies, I have seen people post about this film on Twitter so many times. And so I decided to finally just sit down and watch it for myself because I've seen so many people saying it's like this misunderstood masterpiece. It's a film that more people need to watch. And I really, really enjoyed this film. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is called The Final Girls. The Final Girls is directed by Todd Strauss-Schulson, a young woman grieving the loss of her mother, a famous scream queen from the 1980s, finds herself pulled into the world of her mom's most famous movie. Reunited, the woman must fight off the film's maniacal killer. So I had absolutely no idea what to expect when watching this movie, other than it's a film that on Twitter, a lot of people who love horror movies post about it all the time. And this movie was a lot of fun. I don't think it's a perfect film. I think there's some problems with the script, but I think for the most part, it's just made by someone who clearly has a passion for the horror genre and really wants to kind of pay homage to some of the best films and do it in a way that's goofy, over the top, and fun. I wish it was a little more violent, but I still really appreciated it. So the film stars Taissa Farmiga as Max Cartwright, and her mother, Nancy, played by Malin Åkerman, was a huge slasher star in the 1980s in a film that's very similar to Friday the 13th. And she was in this film and she's trying to find acting roles, and at the beginning of the film they're driving in the car and they're talking about it, they're talking about their life together and kind of just building the dynamic between mother and daughter, and they end up getting in a car accident and Nancy ends up dying in the car accident, which leaves Max by herself. She kind of is this recluse, she has this really small group of friends, but she just really keeps to herself and she misses her mom. And one day this guy who's heading up this film festival at a local theater asks if she'll come make an appearance because they are going to play the first two films in that slasher franchise back to back. And so she reluctantly agrees and ends up going with her friend Gertie, played by Alia Shawkat, who they go to watch the film together. There's this young guy who plays her love interest. They're all in there watching the film, and the theater catches on fire. And they end up going to escape. They run straight for the screen, and when they hit the screen, they are transported into the world of this film. And it just becomes this really over-the-top, goofy homage to slasher films that I really appreciated and enjoyed. There's some really unique filmmaking techniques used in this movie, and also some really head-scratchingly bad ones that I was like, what are you doing this for? But it's really just over the top and goofy the way they discover, like, hey, we're gonna have to play this film out in its entirety, otherwise we're not gonna be able to escape. And I thought that was a really cool concept for a film in general, was just this idea of like, hey, we're not gonna be able to get out of here, we need to find a way to be able to escape. And it was really cool. I really liked that and appreciated that about this movie, was just the way that they went about revealing information to you. All the performances are pretty hokey, but in a fun way. I feel like Taissa Farmiga is probably the strongest performance in the film. Alia Shawkat does a really great job. Adam DeVine shows up in this from Workaholics. He obviously plays his over-the-top, ridiculous self. And the movie isn't excessively violent. I'm not sure if this is PG-13 or R, but it really kind of tones back on the violent moments. There's a couple of cool kills in it, but I felt like it probably could have been taken even more over the top. I really like how you get this complex dynamic between our lead character and her mother when she's in the film, but her mother's character doesn't know that she is her mom. She just thinks that she's a character in the film, and just watching Taissa Farmiga have to struggle and deal with like, hey, I'm seeing my mom again in person. I never thought that I'd be able to see her again. And that's a really great character dynamic, and I think that's what this film does really well, is pulls at those emotional heartstrings and kind of keeps you invested in a way that a lot of these other films that pay homage to that era of filmmaking don't do as good of a job of building up those character dynamics. And then the third act of this film goes into goofy territory. There's implications that there could be a sequel. Seeing as how this film came out in 2015 and I haven't really seen anything else, I doubt that that'll end up happening, which is disappointing because I felt like it was a lot of fun. And sometimes you just need a goofy, fun movie to watch to just enjoy yourself, sit back and relax. And this was a lot of fun. It made me laugh really hard. I felt like the homage to the slasher genre was paid well. I really liked the killer's mask. I thought it looked really cool. The ways that they approached trying to kill the killer was really interesting. And this whole idea of like the final girl mythos that has existed in film since these slasher films started, the way they kind of dived into that and tried to explore it was really fascinating, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, despite not thinking that this was a perfect film, I still thought that it was absolutely a blast, and one that I'll be adding into my regular rotation for years to come. So have you seen The Final Girls? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was a blast. It was so much fun. It was goofy. It was hilarious. It was everything I could have wanted it to be. As always, if you'd like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.